My mouth is an easy, and I shot him with hundreds of rhymes. Living design to make me rewind. This time I draw the line. He's mine. Just chill.
Welcome everyone to PCP Deep Dive, our PCP Pop Culture Pros study on everything Deep Dive franchise related. We are here talking in the middle of our Nightmare on Elm Street run, looking at Nightmare 5, The Dream Child night. With me, as always, the man on the mic, the DJ, the man in the chair, Ed. How are you tonight, Ed?
What's up, fellas? I mean, I'm scraping at the door to talk about this one with you guys because I've been holding this in since sometime Saturday. Like this, I'm glad we're finally on, but I'm always happy to talk Freddy and anything else.
Yeah, this is something. As always, with us, the dad of the group. Even though I'm a dad too, but you're a dad with a capital D. I'm like
just say it. I'm fucking old. Just say it, dude. Just say it. That's what you want to say.
Yeah, I'm a dad. But Tim, how are you today?
I'm here for the debate. I'm just gonna watch these two go at it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I watched this the other day and I had some serious problems. I even have notes, and I just read the notes again. I don't even know what I wrote. That's how bad this is. I have notes. I don't know what that means. So I'm trying to figure out as we go along.
We will address the issues in the debate, and we will address your. We will fix it.
Okay.
We'll own up.
Me and Jason will declare a winner at the end.
That's right. Of the show. Oh, and saving the best for last, as always, the final girl of the show, Ginny. Ginny, how have you been?
Good, great, Your Honor. And I feel that you're gonna come to an impasse, like an impasse, where I think oh man, I watching this movie because I was like, it's been years, honestly, since I watched this. Oof, magoof. I know we're gonna we all have our issues with this movie, but then also I think there's a lot as a human being, as a woman, as a mother, as a film fan. I am into Your Honor. I didn't want to love it. I didn't want to fall in love with the movie again, and I kind of did by accident. And I think there's something to it.
Wait,
I'm excited to hear.
Wait. Oof magoof.
Yeah, I say that because I don't want to swear, and I try not to swear. So I say yikes and oof magoof a lot.
I'm stealing that, and I'm going to put it on a T-shirt. That's it.
Wow.
I love it. Oh, and as always, I'm your host, Jason, here with the crew, talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. We're like halfway through this run at this point, guys. We got one more canon. Two more canon. Oh yeah, you're right. I forget that is canon.
Freddy vs. Jason is definitely canon.
Freddy vs. Jason is. Yeah, that is
so
canon.
Right.
So
it's so canon.
Yeah, two more canon after this.
We got all right. Two more canon after this, and then a really good offshoot. And then I'm sorry, guys, but we all have to watch the remake. But we don't have to deal with that tonight. No, I know. No one should ever watch that, and I'm sorry that we have to watch it, but we do. But that's a problem for future us. Right now, our problem is talking about a Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. So before I open it up to thoughts, initial thoughts, I'm going to go over this very simple plot, and you guys just add in. Somehow Freddy returns. He is birthed from his mother. It's a boy. Palpatine style. And the Alice from the last movie, our titular Dream Master, is pregnant.
Sure.
And as a result, Freddy comes back and is able to get in other people's dreams because the kid is dreaming because we dream in the
I don't know if
womb.
science hasn't. We haven't clarified this as a society, and if we have, I have not
we don't know.
researched it. Maybe doctors
I
have
don't know.
found out.
Jason,
I'm
Jason,
willing.
I will say that I'm on board with it so far. We have
Okay.
coherence so far.
Yeah.
Movie logic,
and
fine.
then Freddy starts killing her friends through the dreams without with
She brings
you know-
him in a little bit. She goes, "Oh, there's a Freddy," and then he gets in. We initiate that though. It's in text.
All right.
It's in
All right.
lore.
And then Freddy kills a paltry 3 people. He only kills 3 people in this movie, guys. This is a lazy Freddy.
This is true. This is also very true, Your Honor.
A lot of survivors.
Yeah.
A lot of survivors at the end of this one.
Survivors. A lot of survivors
Survivors.
that I love personally, that I would like to be saved.
Fair enough. But I haven't even gotten to the perplexing stuff. I could hand wave everything I just talked about. The perplexing stuff comes when we go back into the lore with his mother, and she birds him, and then like he's palling around with the dream child, who's actually a child and not an infant or an embryo or a bunch of cells, and then he's turning him evil, and then he has like the Freddy, let's go kill people together. Ha ha, I've tricked you. And then everything is fine. The end of this movie just falls apart.
Your Honor, the end of this movie does fall apart entirely. I will, we can break it up. We can talk about the parts that if you don't like this movie, Freddy doesn't show up till like, I clocked it. It's an hour and a half long, like maybe an hour and 40, but at most. I was like, oh man, I just like love all these characters. Check the clock, and I was like, we have an hour left. This is a pretty quick movie. I was like, and Freddy wasn't there. I was like, where is my friend? Like a real Freddy doesn't show up till forever.
I don't think a real Freddy ever shows up. Like, so let's talk about Freddy the character here, right? I think, and I've been saying that this is where we're going. I think this movie is the full Bugs Bunnification of Freddy Krueger. I think he is a full-blown fucking cartoon character in this movie.
Where do you want to jump in, Jason?
Ed, go ahead. You've been biting your tongue. I'll let you start us off, and then Ginny, you can do the rebuttal, and then Tim and I will just look at each other and go, "Yes."
Can I trump it up a little? Can I trump it up a little bit and be like, and then
We'll clap. We'll clap. For the
No. Listen,
I won't
no.
be doing that. I'm
You
gonna, like,
two
come
are
in.
not off the hook, okay? Even though I'm sure. Listen, we set up in the previous episode about the two, Ginny and I, guarding our own gates and stuff like that. We knew this was coming.
Yes, we did.
So,
we did.
But
We did.
regarding what you asked, there are parts where he is definitely. I mean, it's Robert Englund, obviously. There's a Freddy aspect, and yes, he literally becomes a cartoon character in one scene, which I think is that's where the shark jumps in this series. Like in this franchise, he officially jumps when he's on that skateboard. Right, he rides that skateboard.
I forgot about the skateboard. I did forget.
Yeah.
The skateboard. That was super
Jenny
weird.
will never forget about the skateboard. 'Cause I have
I
never
like a
forgotten about the
cartoon.
skateboard.
I like a cartoon.
And
That's
then
Freddy.
yes, there's the skateboard, and then there's Super Freddy, and that's where he becomes an actual cartoon character. His one-liners are even lame in this movie. Like a lot of them don't even make any sense. Of what's going on. They don't. I mean, the fuel injection and the Need for Speed thing. I'll give him that because actually Dan's parents say that to him.
They said
So I
it.
will say that. It might be cheesy and it might be
No
dumb.
foreshadowing. A little bit of foreshadowing.
Yes, no, Jenny, I'm with you on that. There is
know.
foreshadowing.
No.
Fuel injection as well. I was like, wait, what are we talking about? And then it keeps going and going.
And with baby girl, our best friend, who was like her swimming lesson, like
That whole
catchphrases weren't
thing
sharp.
is and that whole thing doesn't even make any sense anyway. But focusing on Freddy though himself, he does. This is where he officially jumps it. At least Robert Englund looks like he's having a good time in this still, and he's
Robert
having
Englund.
a blast and everything. Yeah.
Robert Englund has a big old scenery sandwich that he's chewing on this entire movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And also Freddy's look, if we're going to talk about that, because it does change from movie to movie.
It does.
It starts to phase its way to, like, in Freddy's Dead, he pretty much looks his worst, where he's like just like a
100% agreed.
Yeah, he's like a Pizza Hut pizza or something. Like, it's just very strange. Well, we can save that for next week, but it starts like disintegrating there. So, yeah, Freddy is definitely at his most unscary, I think, right next to 2, because remember 2 when they pulled him into the real world and he just messes up your table and he like yells at people and stuff, like it just mildly just kind of annoys you a little bit. This is the second. Like, he's just not imposing in the least in this film.
I'm actually going to say that I actually think he's scarier in 2 than in this one.
Really?
Because
you have to clean up after him.
Well,
he's scary.
There is that, but also like he's taken over this kid's body.
All jokes aside,
you know, like there's some creepy stuff.
It's more violent. There's no blood in this movie.
No. I mean, is this a PG-13? I didn't even check. Is this a PG-13 or is this a hard R?
Hard R. They're all R's.
Yeah, I would say definitely. It's R, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, but maybe a light R. Okay, because like you're right. I didn't even clock that, but there's not blood in this. We don't get the Freddy like I'm gonna mutilate myself and you're gonna see my green blood. We don't even get that.
Oh, and then they cut down the Dan's death, which is a thing, but that's like I realized that's a thing. I won't.
Yeah, I knew Ginny and I were going to both know about this, so yes, and Jason, we talked about before. There is, in the defense of the film with that, which there may be very slight defenses of this thing, is that it was scissored to death. Like the studio completely edited the shit out of this movie, and I think that's why things don't make a lot of sense throughout the film, because there's a lot of missing scenes. But there's no director's cut. There isn't the Hopkins cut that we're ever going to get.
I wish there were.
Our beloved director, Stephen Hopkins.
Yes, the Hopkins cut.
Who did what's his name? What's it called? What's the
Well, he did Predator 2, which is
he did play. Well, I don't
sequel.
care for Predator 2, but then what was that? Lost in Space, the remake with Lost in Space.
Yes,
he did Lost in Space.
I did like that,
and he dated Heather Graham. Think about that, guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Ginny, what's your thoughts on Freddy? And then Tim, I'll come to you, and then I'll end off.
There is not enough Freddy, but the Freddy that I get, I like, because I caught glimpses of this when I had that weird instance when I watched Freddy's Dead on TV, because Freddy's Dead has the like greatest hits credit roll where they showed all of his kills and all of his nonsense, and they show a lot of this stuff too, which seems weird, like her diving into the water. It's like surrealism, which is scary to me. And like, I don't know if they did like the horror, but him like spitting up water when he comes up out of like the boiler room, there's water. I love that shot, and I like will always love that shot. And also Alice like jamming a rod into his face in this movie. But the water him spitting up is like very upsetting to me because it's too dark. It's like 4 is fine. He's putting on sunglasses, he's having a good time. This movie,
he's on the beach.
I was like, that's different. Like this one, I'm like a little like, it's a boy, and you're like, I don't like that. I don't like a little baby fetus running around. Don't like that.
Oh no!
No. I don't want that. I don't want a child like getting on that form. I don't like that. But he's not used enough in this movie. So that's my big beef with it too. But I don't know. I got some stuff, but.
But he tries to use others a lot in this movie, like not to like the Jesse effect, but yeah, he tries to use the child.
Yeah,
even like Alice at one point, he's sort of fused with her.
Yeah,
so why I don't know, but somehow he is briefly
part of the baby, and the baby is giving birth to the
yes
child. It's like it's written by a woman, you guys. The script is written by a woman. Yes, it is.
No, it is. It is.
I mean, it makes me want to see the original cut more then because like what we got is garbage. But and we'll go into it later on. But I think there is a movie here. I think there's a good movie among this wreckage. It's just not what we got.
It's just like maybe not a Freddy movie, or maybe like a Smile-esque movie where it's like Smile is like the fear of your unborn baby, which is always the anxiety of that if a woman is giving birth or a person is giving birth. that. But I was like, and then Freddy shows up. I was like, right, this is a Freddy movie. It's not like a teen pregnancy.
It's kind of reminiscent, not to get too deep on a film, but if either of any of you guys saw Eraserhead, like that's this David Lynch's first movie. It's this nightmare, surreal exploration of the horrors of having a child.
Maybe that is a little bit of that, you know.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. I actually in my notes did write, is this a pro-abortion movie?
But they say they kind of because
yeah, I was gonna say they do talk. There's a whole scene where they have a brief conversation about it, and they're like,
"Yeah."
She's like, "No, I would like to. I
exactly.
don't want to go that route." He's like,
"Okay, as a woman, I say there's like two movies. I go like I have to plug this in now because I go." At least for Women's Choice, you go Black Christmas, where she does not. If you've not seen it, spoiler alert for Black Christmas. Wait a bit if you don't know that movie. But the movie, the lead girl, who is our final girl, was like, "I'm pregnant," and the boyfriend's like, "Great! Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Let's do it." And she goes, "I'm not keeping it. I can't do this. It's just like our plans are different." And she's like, "I need to have an abortion." And she says it very plainly. He's like, "Let's talk about this. Please don't do this." And she's like, "Well, I've made my choice." So like it's the 70s and it's like amazing. It's a perfect movie.
That's
and
pretty
then,
big. Yeah.
It was big in the 70s. It was before Halloween, all of that. And this movie, they go, and her friend goes, "Have you thought, Mark, leave Mark out of this, Your Honor. Leave Mark out of this." I love Mark. Mark goes, "Have you thought about not having the baby?" And she goes, "No." And she really straightforward. I love when the women just go like, yes or no. Like, I am connected. I love the baby. I want the baby, which is perfect. And I was 14. I don't think I realized. I was like, that's great. Like, yes, it's quick. It's efficient. She's like, I feel connected. Of course she does. And Freddie wants the baby. But that was like, well, how beautiful though, in a way. There was like, yeah, this is straightforward. Like, and we fixed that also. We brushed over that issue because she's 16 or 17 years old and she's like, keeping the baby.
Don't think about that.
I know, don't think about that. But I was like, I do love that she says that. And then her dad is also like, she's like, "Are you mad at me?" And the dad's like, "No, I'm not mad at you." I was like, "Thank you, Your Honor."
I want to talk about the dad next, but because I think that he is. No, it's okay. No, I'm glad you brought it up because I do think he is a one-of-a-kind parent in this series. But before we do that, Tim, what are your thoughts on this Freddy?
Not much really. I'm watching this again for the first time in I don't know how long. I forgot a lot of it. So watching it over again, I was like, "Ooh, okay. I know what Ed's talking about." Okay. I will say one thing though, and if it pops up on my Facebook memories, I will post it on this page. When I found that I was having a boy, I used that clip. It's a boy on Facebook to announce my son being born.
As you should. Wow.
I had to do it. If it pops up, I'll make sure I repost it for you guys.
That's amazing.
That is awesome.
Yeah, like you said, this is full cartoon Freddy. Not scary at all. Not even like close. Too jokey for me. Yeah. I said to you, starting to melt like Pizza the Hut a little bit. Some Spaceballs. Starting to get a little weird looking.
Very weird looking.
Yeah, just not a great movie. Great Freddy. That's all I really can say about that part. I have a lot of dumb notes, so I can't wait to talk about.
And as I said, awesome. As I said, I think he's an absolute cartoon in this movie, and I cannot believe as a kid I was too scared to watch this movie in particular. What the hell? I wish I could go back in time and sit myself down, and first we would listen to one of the songs where Freddy raps in. Because, if you ever are afraid of Freddy, listen to him rap in the 80s, and that fear's gone. And watch this movie and just go, look, is there anything scary about this? And, 12-year-old me would have been like, no. Because, again, I think he's a cartoon. That's my opinion on this. All right, but let's talk about the dad, because I think the dad's important in this because
I do too.
This is, by my estimation, the first parent who actually finds redemption and isn't an irredeemable piece of shit. Because when we see him, he's in rehab. He's got a rehab. He's being a good dad. He's dealing with his trauma from losing his son in the last one. As
I
Jenny
know.
said, when she said,
That's
"Are you
like
mad at me?"
the line
He's
that
like,
hit me
"No."
the worst was she's like, you're not upset at me that I'm like, she didn't say like I'm pregnant. He just goes, you're not like mad at me, and he goes, no, I like love you, and he goes, it'd be nice to have a boy. He goes, I hope it's a boy. It'd be nice to have a boy around the house cat, and she's meaning her brother from the last movie, and I don't think our series has done that until we get to New Nightmare, which has its own like trauma and
that's a different story.
But I was like shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. And again, I watched Hi Baby. It's my baby, my little dream child. I also watched that movie again when I was pregnant with my second child. I watched this one again, and I was just like, let me see how this feels to me. The idea that like I don't know, that your baby maybe dreams, all that nonsense. But I was like, I that's so interesting. The dad is like he's a softer character, and I was like, I like that, a little supportive, because some of the adults are not. I think this fills out more of the side characters and like her friends better than the last movie, but I love the friends of the last movie too. So I don't know.
Ed?
I mean, focusing on the dad, I totally agree with you. Like, it is cool to see him, like, he got his shit together. Like, the events of Dream Master, like, it changed him. Like, you're right, we saw character growth from the dad. And, yeah, the line where he references Rick is, yeah, it does. You kind of something like, damn, okay, so that's cool to see that, because, yeah, we never really get that from movie to movie that much. But I mean, whatever. I don't want to sidetrack it, but like as far as the friends group goes, I don't know. Like for me, it was very. I thought they were honestly like bootleg versions of the characters from the last movie.
Yeah,
that was.
Now you see that.
No, I'm just saying, like yes, I know where you're gonna go with it, but like
Your Honor, rebuttal.
I'm just saying, like it just seemed like it was. This is a year after Dream Master, right? Like in the timeline.
Yeah, no, that's confusing too. Like,
so it's a year later, and she has this entire deep friends group already.
And they all drink, and they're all like cool.
They're all
and
to go, whatever. They're seniors in high school, which we see one of the most bizarre graduations I think I've ever witnessed on film.
Yes,
that was just so awkward and insane. But I don't know. The friends group just seemed like. There are a lot of like one-note characters that it's just like, hey, let's give the audience something so when Freddy kills them with this, you know why he's doing this. Because we've already chalked up these deaths that we've had in our mind. So, hey, this kid doesn't like blood. He likes comic books. This one swims. But it does something with it.
I go, but I do go. I was like, the first, but now I'm like, the fourth one to me, it was like their deaths were like, boom, boom, boom. And then we had Kristen and you had Alice to like build up. And this one, it's just Alice. And she's got like 4. And we already know Dan. Dan is basic and a football player. But then they gave Dan more of a life in this movie where they're like, you're going to go be a football player. And I was like, that's a real thing. But also there's a guy who should be a goth kid. He's not a goth kid. He's like a comic book kid.
Yeah.
With both that.
Mark. Yeah.
Model. Mark. Greta's
thing is also confusing, by the way.
I love Greta. Don't keep.
No, come on.
Out of your mouth.
Come on, stop. Greta is not like. Come on. All right. Yes.
She's like catalyst to like trigger the death. I was like, poor Greta. Greta did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong.
She didn't do anything wrong. But like, it's what weirds me out around Greta is the fact how all these adults are talking about Greta and her body and everything. I'm like,
yes, Your Honor.
In high school,
like she's not even there.
In high school, and they did that in the 80s. Oh
yeah,
my
this
God,
one dude is like totally checking her out.
She just wanted to be with her beautiful goth boy, who was supposed to be a goth boyfriend guy who liked her, and he was wearing her down, and they loved each other. And her mom was like, he did. They're like, "Cause I'm doing it." I was like, this relationship is everything to me, and she didn't want to do it. She was like funny and she was so charismatic and she was doing impressions and she was great and she just happened to be 5'10". Gnash my teeth for the paparazzi.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love Greta. Don't talk anyone about. And then the she got the worst death, arguably. Sorry.
I mean, the stuff between
love
Greta
it.
and Mark when in their dream,
Mark,
in their
I
deaths
know.
is. If you want to, again, Jason, I don't want to
I
jump.
love
together.
Mark,
If you want to
man.
go one by one, but I was just discussing the Friends group in general.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it was so good because right, we talked last week about Dream Master, right? Like that, we I think we all kind of agreed that the way they disposed of the last of the Dream Warriors was kind of like,
Yeah,
all
a
right,
bit
just-
too quick.
yeah, let's get them out of here and let's just get the new crop of kids in here and let's move on. Right? Like Kristen was the only one that had some sort of lasting effect. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Joey
like
and Kincaid, we
Transformers
got to
movie.
get rid of them.
I know, but it was like a little bit of like
Yes,
fun
yes, Tim,
relationship.
you're right. I heard that one. No, you're right. It's kind of
Transformers
like
the movie.
Transformers the movie. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's get rid of the old crew and get the new crew in. But I don't know. Like, I kind of just felt like, like I said, I felt like I bought the friendship of the group in Dream Master more than I did in Dream Shop. Like, I just kind of, I don't know. There was something of a hard time buying it.
Tim?
Like I get that point to Ed. I agree. Sorry, Ginny. Sorry, Ginny. Your enthusiasm isn't infecting, but that point goes.
Damn it! I just feel like I'm older now, and I'm like,
No,
this
I love
game's
Jenny's enthusiasm in this whole thing. It's great.
guys, I really do.
I'm gonna take a middle road here because I do think Greta as a character has interesting points. I think Dan is just a fucking caricature. I mean, you could just remove him from the movie, and all you miss is
He's
a
a hunk.
shitty death.
He's giving babies.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Jason, hold on a
Alice.
second though. We
Oh,
do
all right,
see-
you're right.
We see the conception in the opening credits for some bizarre
I
reason.
kind of love
Oh
that.
God, you're right. And actually, you know what I thought?
What the fuck was that about?
We'll be talking more about The Simpsons next time. But there's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer's talking about like when Maggie was born, and you see like a sperm going through, and it cuts back, and it's just Homer doing this, and Bart goes, "Dad, do you really need to give us the graphic?" That's what this reminded me
That's
of.
so true. It's so true. Because I was like watching it, I was like, right, I remember that. And then like, but like, it's like very like sensual and very beautiful. I was like, beautiful, lovely. Good for Alice in the last movie, like hooking up with her jock boyfriend. But I'm like, this is a little like, I'll take up 2 minutes of my life.
It's a bit too much. And all right, so you're right. He has a point. You're right. He has a point. Excuse me, but I think he
that's
could
it.
have done
That's
more.
it. After the conception, no, he's done.
Yeah, that's it. And then you get
boom, boom.
comic book guy who has the aha moment. Literally, he goes into the aha video.
Yes.
He sure does. No.
He again like more of a stereotype. And I think my issue with the kids is there aren't enough of them. Like, I like to have a crop. You like in a movie like this, you need some expendables and you need some characters. And it feels like we have 2 characters and 2 expendables, and it's just not enough.
It's interesting because also we talked about like the like you totaled it. There's 3 deaths, right?
Yeah, there's only 3.
Yeah, Mark
And 1 near.
Mark,
He
Greta.
almost kills the one in the water.
And also, so a lot of the time it's Alice and her bestie just talking through, which is nice. And like to me, as an I'm older now, and I'm like, this is actually all right. Yeah, like clarify the lore and let's talk about this. But like she's not. We don't have any like other expendable people to kill because you have to get like cerebral in this movie, especially. We're really sticking to that lore. That does stink because I was like, oh, I love these characters so much. Freddy, what are you doing here? He comes in and I'm like, oh no.
It's funny because I'm on the other end saying, please, Freddy, show the fuck up and get rid of these kids in some weird way fast.
So let's take the deaths one by one. So our first of 3 is Dan. His whole thing is he's driving his car, and again, like he nods off, I guess, but like, I don't drive. I can't imagine I've hit fucking REM sleep by nodding off against the wheel.
What does he do? He just he gets into the motorcycle next. What happens there?
So
that was
That's
confusing.
a weird. It's very confusing.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say
he's
it
driving.
is super confusing.
He's driving, and then the car starts attacking him because it's Freddy. That's where we get the fuel injection line, right? Or is that when he gets on the motorcycle? And then you have this weird, like, he's driving and then he crashes the car and he gets out and there's a motorcycle and he jumps on. I'm getting where I'm going. It's like that's all in the dream. He's been sleeping a long time behind the wheel at this point.
No.
How he had time in the dream to change motors to motorcycle, I don't know. And then Freddy's the motorcycle, and Freddy kills him, and then it's a car collision. That's how it looks. That's the first kill.
Like the sleep again, going to Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the weird driving, falling asleep, sleep logic thing that might be in the lore. That definitely felt weird to me. But
yeah, that's why I always thought that the whole conceit of this movie, and I was wrong, is that he's getting through them he's pulling them into dreams because the kid is always dreaming. Which didn't make sense to me. But I don't think it makes much more sense for like I'm nodding off and all of a sudden I'm in this deep slumber where I'm being murdered. Like talking about like the human brain, it takes us a little while to get in a REM sleep. You don't just go like that.
As long as
So I think my understanding of it was that so I've in one of the ways, because once the kid and Amanda get involved in these things, like things start becoming really entangled and
Amanda. Her name is Amanda. Yes.
No, but like he's supposedly like he is sort of scared of Alice, right, being the other gatekeeper and everything like that. So he tries to find like a backdoor way to use her power against her, where she can drag in others because he needs more souls and stuff, right? Like that's the basic concept of what Freddy's plan is supposed to be in this film, right? So I understand that. So I actually don't mind the fact that it's kind of clever, but yes, they do show Dan fall asleep. They do show some of them fall asleep. Now, I also can chalk that up to at some point in the film, like these kids are sleep deprived to like crazy lengths, and they uncontrollably kind of like nod off. So I can kind of allow that part, but just the way that Dan's death goes, since we're talking about Dan, is just he's in the car, he's driving, Freddy's next to him, and yada yada, and then all of a sudden, he crashes, jumps on a motorcycle, then he turns Dan into the motorcycle and stuff, and he's like goes up in flames in the dream world. But then in reality, they do at least cut back and show it was a car accident. I'm like, okay. Like the other stuff is visuals for us, right? Like to make this more than, Dan's in a car accident. Oh, this okay. Oh shit, I lost Jenny.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I can. It's just the way it's. Yeah, the whole thing is just a bit confusing, with him just going round and round with that. I don't. And it's not like in Dream Master where he had them in the loop.
No, that would have been a different story. Yeah, I found it I found it pretty confusing myself. Tim, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, did anyone else think that Dan was kind of a piece of shit for that? Your girlfriend calls you screaming that she needs your help, and she says it's Freddy, so he knows she's not lying. How do you fall asleep behind the wheel of a car? And that demon. I mean, I'd be so hyped up knowing that Freddy's real, knowing that she's probably not wrong. I'm not falling asleep behind the wheel
parents,
of a car.
he just graduated. His parents are working him to the bone.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Well, hold on.
And he didn't drink at the party because he had the bottle with him.
He did not drink at the party.
No,
I don't know. I don't know why he's so tired.
No, but we learned Dan doesn't drink, and we also learned that Dan lays around with his shirt off and his jeans.
That's right.
No reason.
Sure.
Well, what else do you do with the
What was that?
Do that.
It was the 80s.
Yeah, come on, Ed.
80s.
Jenny, this is what you're going with.
I am going to say this.
This is not the thing to be obsessed
No.
about.
I just want to mention that. I just want to acknowledge the bizarreness of that.
What?
So, Dan, you going
Why
swimming?
is he so tired?
I'm not going swimming. I'm just going to pop off my shirt and sit here in my boots and my jeans.
Exactly.
Okay, Dan. You do that.
Yeah. All right,
We
Dan.
should be
I'm
relaxed.
gonna say
We're
this,
graduating. We're graduating high school. Our
Dan,
life's
have a
ahead of
beer.
us.
No, I'm too busy with my shirt off and my jeans. I'm sorry.
If Dan drank, he might have survived this because drinking
Of course.
disrupts REM sleep.
There you go.
Is that true?
If you drink enough, it blocks REM sleep. Yes, it is.
And all these kids are good old boys. We're all wholesome, good pillars of the community. We work hard. We're working out. We're like athletic.
If he was drinking and driving, he would have crashed for non-Freddy reasons.
A lot of athletes in this universe, except for Joey. What did Joey do? No, Joey didn't do anything wrong.
No,
No,
Joey. What are you talking about, Joey?
from
No,
3.
Puppet. No, he wasn't an athlete. Either.
No, but he was an Elm Street kid.
Yeah,
He was an Elm Street kid, but that's what I'm saying. Like, remember the last of the Elm Street kids?
Up. This is I'm not applying. You can't apply Jason rules to this world because
No,
we have good kids in this universe. We are.
Yes.
Even though we do find out they're in the same universe eventually.
I know, but I was like, we have good kids here in Elm Street.
Well, Jason's taking care of the ones with the premarital sex and stuff, and Freddy's killing the good people. They're cool. Whatever.
Can I throw one of my notes out there?
They can't all be symbols of morality.
Yes,
it's true. Amanda, she's the best friend. Amanda, right?
No, Amanda's the mother.
No,
who's the girl?
Yvonne.
I'm getting confused. Yvonne just graduated from high school.
Yes.
Who's giving her the keys to the pool? And who does she have practice for tomorrow?
Your Honor, let me answer this question.
No.
I was a lifeguard.
I'm not giving some graduating student the keys to the pool.
We used to do that. We did that though in a nice suburban area.
I don't know.
We close up a YMCA when I was I was 20. I wasn't 18. I wasn't 17. That's for sure. But
so Greta has the keys to the pool. I'm sorry, Greta. Yvonne has the keys to the pool. She also works as a nurse while she's a senior.
She is a pillar of the community.
But she has a meet. Oh, I have a big meet coming. For who?
For what?
You're graduated. Who do you have a meet?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They just graduated.
Great question.
They just graduated. We see the graduation.
It's almost as if the people didn't put too much thought into the.
No, the woman just knew that a lot of girls back in the 80s, we worked hard. We were students. We were athletes. We worked as a candy striper, and Yvonne was working hard, and she's a woman of color. It is hustle.
Oh, you're playing the card.
I'm not playing the card. It's in the script, Your Honor. It's in the script, Your Honor.
Well, I actually will, because she is a person of color, and I will give this movie credit. She doesn't die, and I will give this.
And I always applied this movie to that theme that, apparently that was a trope, and I was like, not in this one.
But I'm going to say that this franchise, except for the fourth one, bucks that. Kincaid is a person of color, and not only does he not die first in the third one, he survives. And I'm willing to argue that them killing him first had nothing to do with the fact that he was black. He was just the more interesting of the two people who needed to die. And so he was the one who was bringing Freddy back. So I'm also going to give Freddy a little credit for its, forward thinking.
No, Freddy, but he was just, he got killed in the beginning of 4 because, he was the last of the Elm Street kids.
Well, that's it.
They were trying that's it. Didn't matter what was going on.
It's not his fault. Black people didn't live in Springwood. Whatever, it's not his fault.
It's true.
It's true. All right, so the next death is... I'm sorry, Ed.
Yeah, no, I just... The stuff with... because I don't know if we're... I don't know, leaving Dan per se or whatever like that, but
I figure we'll talk best, worst kill, but let's do this.
Well,
did this kill work for you guys? Did this kill work for you guys?
It was unnecessarily long. The truck would have been fine. There's no reason for him to crash, get up and get on a fake motorcycle just to die in a car. He died, kill him in the car. There's no reason for the motorcycle. But
Tim, I'm gonna say I agree with you. I do think the Dan death scene goes on for a bizarrely long amount of time. I personally would have had him just hop on the motorcycle and kind of got to that part of it because at least visually that was way more interesting than him in the car and next to
He
Freddy.
Should have been on a motorcycle.
You can't carry a giant bottle of champagne on a motorcycle. He had to take the truck.
Oh, could have had a book bag, man. He could have had something. He just went to school, man.
Neither one of them drank.
Ginny, did that kill work for you? Dan?
You know what? I was just confused by it because it really was. I was like, right. The car straps. That's scary. I always like when the parents' voices come into the radio.
Yeah,
that's sort of manipulative. I don't think I like this kill. I don't think I've ever liked this kill. To me, I want something. I like Greta's kill. I like Greta's murder more, of course, and I kind of like. Because we only have 3 kills, which is insane to say.
Only 3.
Mark's kill too. I like Mark's kill because that whole sequence to me is weird. Because it's Freddy's not Freddy. He's like a weird Super Freddy.
He's Super Freddy.
But I like Super Freddy because that scared me when I would fall asleep to this movie 2 times in a week. I like once every other week.
So that moving on to Greta, Greta has, I would say, the most memorable kill of the, at least for me, of the episode or the movie. And Greta's whole thing is she's, as Ed was saying, she's sitting there with her family. They're all talking about her body like she's not there, like she's not a fucking 17, 18-year-old
and
girl.
the older men are like praying. Literally, it was like that to me was fascinating that they were like, she's gonna. I know somebody in the industry. I was like, this is like 19. Like this is a kind of a fun movie. These are interesting like things to drop in, Your Honor. Maybe not an Elm Street movie. But I think we would have done this.
I kind of picture like, oh, we have friends in the industry. Here's my friend Harvey
Weinstein. Literally, the guy's like, wasn't he? He was drunk, wasn't he? And he's like, the guy's chugging a glass of wine. He was very drunk. I was like, oh my god, her mom is like pimping her off to the friends. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, this watch around, I was like, yeah, like, I don't know. This is hitting to me a little bit more like, this is relevant, Your Honor. This is relevant, Your Honor.
Hey, listen, Greta's mother is the biggest cartoon character in this entire movie.
She sure is. She sure is, Your Honor.
She makes Freddy look like, in comparison, Freddy is like Elm Street 1 Freddy.
We don't need Freddy. We don't need Freddy in this movie.
She's creepy. All the people around that table are all cartoon characters.
Creepy.
Freddy and the mother are arguing over if it's duck season or rabbit season.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The mother is just, she's completely in another movie.
It's insane. But the death, the scene, the death scene is like, it is so like, it happens. That is the first, I guess it was the second death. Right.
Yes.
Also, it's my favorite thing also when Greta's like, mother's like, why aren't you eating? She's like, my friend just died today. That happened the fourth one too, where Kristen was like,
God, yeah.
Sorry, mother, I don't have an appetite. My friends just died. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Ginny, are you saying that they copy and pasted something from?
I am not. I just go, it's my favorite thing when teenage girls go, mother, I don't want to eat food today. My friend just died. It's a very 80s thing to say.
Of course, her punishment for not having an appetite because her friend just died is for Freddy to force feed her this weird, like it's like raw meat, right?
Yeah, it's like
it's
her.
It's supposed to be her like organs and her like.
God, it's so gross.
Because it's the doll.
It wasn't 100% clear, but either way, for me. This is probably the best kill only because it is so disgusting and I hate it so much. Like the image of him like going up to the camera with the meat on his thick skewer. I'm going to say like for a movie that's not scary, and I don't think it was scary, it was disgusting.
See what I wrote?
Dinner scene very unnerving.
Unnerving.
Yes,
that's exactly what I wrote in my notes. I was like, I don't remember this. I was like, oh
no.
Okay.
No.
I was like, all right.
Him in a tux and like, no.
Freddy in a tux is always good, but yeah, that scene was real nasty.
You say twice the word tux a lot. That's true.
He does the most interesting Freddy stuff in that scene where, like, he's got because he's like pretending to be the maitre d', and it's less cartoony than we get in the other two kills. So I'm actually gonna say, as much as I hate this kill because it's disgusting, I think this kill does work for me.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
Yeah, I think it does, and I also, from what I understand, this one was also cut down like a good amount too. Like this was supposed to be way more explicit of him feeding her insides, and that's what he was choking her to death with, and they scaled it back. And when you watch the scene, it is strangely edited, to be honest with you, and it kind of actually just happens super fast.
Yeah.
So they cut it down because I think there was.
It's like a doll.
There's a doll type thing that she's like pushed in because they apparently did scale this movie back to get it down to an R and stuff because it was like supposed to be a lot worse.
It is just like it's 1989. Like, but also this movie isn't that brutal to me. Like,
well, because I think they cut so much out.
That's insane, though.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided to go like so far with it, but there was definitely a lot of studio scissoring up the movie, and apparently like small details like that, had to be because even when you watch the death scene too, it's like she's getting fed something that when in the context it's her insides and her organs and stuff, and then like there's the doll thing, and she's kind of like this. She kind of looks like a garbage pail kid with the like cheeks.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, like filling out.
Which, and then also gonna say that there's a fucking image. Now that we're talking about it, the director definitely watched Eraserhead before he directed this movie, because there is a character in that who has these puffed out, cratered cheeks, like she's a garbage pail garbage pail kid kids existed. So I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe this is inspired.
That's true, because that is a very distinctive image. It's just like a weird. And they use it later when they're like tormenting Mark or poor Mark.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it does come back around, and I actually think that's the whole Greta stuff. I think is more effective in that scene.
Yeah, because he loved her. Ways. He loved her.
He did. I don't argue that at all whatsoever. He definitely was like the nerdy comic book kid who had the crush on like.
And she liked him too. It's so upsetting, Your Honor. It's so upsetting. And if you watch all the Friday the 13th and any other horror movie like I did, this one seemed like real to me. Whereas like you have a group of girlfriends, you have your guy friend who you're besties with, like Dan's friends with everybody, but also he likes one of the girls. This is real to me. And then I was like, and you are loyal to each other, even if someone like passes away. Like it's more than just. He wasn't here because he felt like, guys, I have hot takes about it. I just love it. I was like, it makes me more upset now that I'm like,
Ginny,
loved her.
Ginny, where was Greta, Mark, and Yvonne during Dream Master? If they were so close, where were they?
I'm happy you asked. Please. I'd just like to say that Alice was too shy. Support groups, Your Honor. We don't know. They came together in like a year of each other, right?
Yes, and supposedly a year later.
It was pretty crazy.
They had this really deep bond within a year after all their friends got murdered.
Maybe Dan was like, I don't know.
When you're in high school, you absolutely plan
you don't change friends with like
remain friends with the people you're friends with for so long that you plan on doing a podcast with them in your 40s.
Yes.
Let's be honest though, Dan would not be friends with any of them.
No.
Yvonne. He'd be friends with Yvonne.
No.
A little bit. Maybe. Because they're athletes. They are athletic and
I don't know. I don't see it.
And he loves Alice, so Alice and him are best. Like
I don't know. Dan seems a bit more humble than Dan seems a bit more humble in this movie. Even though we don't see.
He does. He is. Oh,
he seems like a bit more like.
Because he knows he's about to die.
I love that we're talking about the characters and not about like Freddy in this movie because he's not there.
No. I'm saving the more Freddy stuff because there's way more Freddy stuff because we have to get into his plan. When we discuss his plan,
he's not humble. Right, so he's not humble. He pops his shirt off. He's not humble.
That's fair, Tim. Tim, that's fair.
So which way?
I love Dan with no shirt.
Make sure you go this way.
Exactly.
He was going to take Alice to Paris. I think we need to talk about that. He is a romantic. We love him.
Yes, he was. They were going to go to Paris.
Did you get the speech, by the way? I'm sorry, just better.
That's okay. So then we got Mark. Well, let's get done with the kills then. Mark gets dragged to an AHA video. Freddy becomes Super Freddy and rips him apart. I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? I hated this, to be honest with you, because him becoming Super Freddy in that moment, that's the moment where he becomes a cartoon character irrevocably.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. I do, and as Jason, we do a comic book movie and TV show podcast. This should be right up our fucking alley. And it's awful. Like, it's just dumb. The only cool thing I'll give this scene is when he's looking through the Nightmare. That's basically Nightmare on Elm Street 5 comic book, right? That's what he's reading at first. That's a cool concept. It's just that, like, it's the whole thing of like it visually looks pretty cool. I will also say that it's not like that. It looks
No,
cheap or something.
And I think
It's-
this movie does look good visually.
No, it does.
I think it's a
The-
beautiful movie.
Yeah, no, the
also,
visuals
yeah.
look great, and especially for 1989. But
Mhm.
it's just there's no blood really outside of like what we see in his arm at the end of it. It's the slicing up of him. It's the Freddy on the skateboard fucking nonsense that we get. Then there's the Super Freddy when he's just talking about what is it like? He's trying to do the Superman things of like you know
puff.
faster than a bastard maniac or
I
something
hate
like that.
that. Yeah, I do hate
It's
that.
just so bad. It's like
so
dude, stop.
cartoonish.
For once, I'm like Freddy, stop talking. You're making
It's not
this
even
much
Robert
worse.
Englund. It's like a different guy. It's a different
No, it had to
actor.
be. Yeah. Because this is the movie where others actually start playing Freddy.
It looks good.
Oh, is that true?
Right?
Yes, because
Yeah.
like technically, like someone else played Super Freddy. That wasn't Robert Englund.
Oh, yeah, that's a
And
good point. That's a good
Outside of like the one in the first movie, right, where the stunt double and he's on fire and stuff like that. Obviously,
Yeah.
somebody else is him. But outside of that, no one actually gets to play him. Like technically, in this movie, the kid is Freddy at one point, and Alice is sort of Freddy at one point.
Yeah. So weird.
Like,
Yeah.
he kind of bounces around a little bit in this, but it's just the death. I don't know. It's just super cheesy. Like Jason said, it's over the top. This is jumping the shark and stuff. You could have made this cool, but you kind of didn't. And like this guy's phantom character thing, whatever the fuck he was
His
going
phantom,
for.
but he's like getting shotguns. He's like,
Yeah, I don't know what's going on
Yeah.
with that thing. It's weird.
Not a good
We saw
design.
this done well in Dream Warriors with the D&D kid, the wizard. Like
Yes.
that's
you
that's what
imagine?
this kind of was like made me go, wow, are they trying to do a Dream Warrior thing again? And in which case, fucking go full Dream Warrior again. Give us like, I would have much rather this movie been, you know what? Where Freddy's back and I got a new crop of kids that I got to help and I'm Alice. I'm training you motherfuckers to be the next Dream Warriors.
Well, hold on, Jason. I'm gonna push back on that a little for 1 second. If you only because this. I don't know if you saw. I got a chance. I did share a clip recently because this is actually the 40th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street, which because they dropped like the 4K Blu-ray Super Edition, and Robert Englund gave his explanation of why he thinks how this whole stuff works. And apparently, when the kids learn about Freddy, they start dreaming of him and like picturing him in their minds, and that's when he can hijack their dreams and kind of go with that. So if they don't talk about Freddy, technically he shouldn't be able to, and that's why he needs Alice and the child to get to them.
I do want to point something out that was clarified to you by an interview that happened outside of this movie with Robert Englund, the guy who played Freddy Krueger. That is not made clear in this movie at all.
No, Jason, and that is completely fair. I'm just throwing out like a potential like possibility. No, he didn't even say that that's canon. He just said like this is what he believes is the case.
And it makes sense, and I'd like to see that.
No, but within canon, they do say that Alice is the conduit, and the child is the conduit to get to the children, because Freddy can't get to these children, these teenagers, without them. That's why he needs them. So that's fair to say that. So if you're Alice and Dan, maybe you want to keep it on the hush, but you're right. Once Freddy's on the loose, then you might want to like say, all right, listen, I gotta get to this. But I also was gonna ask you guys something. After Dream Warriors, right? Like that's the movie where they introduced the concept of individual murders that Freddy's going to kill you with things either you love or that you're scared of, right? Like that's where that's going to happen. In Dream Master, the Dream Warrior part of it, like your strength thing, kind of goes out the window for the most part. And then in this one, it's also kind of out the window, except for maybe Mark, who's able to turn into his hero that he created.
Well, he kind of, I don't know, maybe he's more of a
Sort of.
dreamer than
know.
everyone else.
It's just an observation.
Ed, dare I say you like this movie and you have a lot of like philosophical like ideas and you're like really,
Yeah, but I also love to, if I'm going to destroy something, I want to systematically know how it works to destroy it.
All right, so anything else about the kills before we move on to the lore, and then we'll save the final girl for last. So anything else about the 3 kills we got before we move on to the lore, which is when you can air your grievances, Ed.
Yes, because that's where a lot of it.
I will be airing the kills are kind of weak. Yeah.
No, I think that's it regarding the kills that I got.
Yeah.
I mean,
and again, for me, best is the Greta one because it's just so disgusting. worst has to be the Super Freddy one, just because that's where he jumps the shark. I don't know where you guys feel about that, but that's kind of my best worst kill of this movie.
Jason? Are you naming 2 of the 3 kills?
I am.
So one doesn't make the
cut. One doesn't make the cut. One is forgettable. One I think got into a car accident while riding a motorcycle.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
No.
Jason, I'm going to echo with what you just said. I mean, because
Dan.
there's not a lot to pick from. I mean,
There's
I guess, yeah. Greta. I don't know. The visuals of Dan's kill on the motorcycle look kind of cool.
I do love
but,
that.
the concept is kind of goofy.
Yeah.
I like his Alice going to make babies. Me, like when he's like burning up and he's like,
Yeah.
sorry, that's great. I was like watching that. I was like, oh, I know what happens. And I'm kind of bored. And I would fall asleep at this point because I'd fall asleep watching these movies. So that was like the trigger sometimes.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what the hell's going on with the Bond's dream sequence because that's just bizarre.
Well, that's weird because that's a near death. Like she has this
almost
forever
gets her.
dive into the water, right? Like, and then he goes to get her, and then she wakes up, and it's like,
But then he's like holding her as leverage, which he could have done in 4, but he doesn't do that in 4, where he's like, I got your friend here.
Yeah, right,
and she's like, give her back. And I was like, let's take her out, because he would have done that in part 4, and he doesn't do that. And I was like, well,
he does that with because he does that with Kristen, right? Like to Alice in 4.
Yeah,
but then he ends up throwing her into the fucking furnace.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And you can have my power.
I don't know. I'm not the only one who thought. I thought the shower scene was very freaky, with the water filling up and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
I
actually, you want to know something?
That actually bothered the hell out of me more than anything else in the movie.
Sure did, yeah.
And that I was like, I don't like this.
Because you're vulnerable.
Yeah, I have a thing with I don't like that stuff, but I was like, yeah, it's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
Oh, you get taken down.
That has definitely crossed my mind when I've used the shower like that in my life a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's happened to me. We all live in New York.
Yeah, like Jesus, that's not good.
All right, so the lore that we get here, because this is a lore heavy movie.
It's building on part 3.
It is. It's building on part 3. We get Freddy's mom back. We actually do get in the beginning of this movie in a flashback. This is the first time we see Robert Englund, I believe, without his makeup.
Yeah.
No, he was the nurse in.
All right, but I meant like as himself. Like, yeah, you're right. He was in drag as Freddy without the makeup,
briefly,
as the nurse.
Yeah.
But this is like the first. Because is it himself or is no? It's one of the maniacs, right?
He's one of the 100 maniacs,
right?
That is, obviously
Freddy's dad.
But
logic will tell you they're not all his dad. Obviously,
he's the one that delivered the shot.
The one he looks like is his dad.
You would assume that is his dad, though. He's technically playing the one that
got
one past the goalie there. Like that's
for sure.
He's the guy.
Oh, that sequence is like, oh man. All right, go on. Keep talking, Jason.
No, so more. I'm just gonna lay the lore related stuff out, and then you guys will talk about it. So then we get his mom back from the third one, and his mom was key in banishing him in the third one. She rebirths him for reasons like Emperor Palpatine. He's back. And then it's this whole thing of Alice trying to work. Right, I guess, because
the consumption,
the Dream
because
Master
of the pregnancy,
pregnant. But again, that doesn't make any sense.
It sure does. The embryo can dream.
This is where things start to crumble in the beginning and the end when we start talking about the story.
Anyway.
And then Alice is working with Freddy's mom because Freddy's hanging out with her unborn child who's 6.
Yeah.
Or 10 or something. Mm-hmm. And then they work together, all 3 of them, to vanquish Freddy by... The kid does this weird, like, Freddy, I'm like you. I'll kill with you. Wink to your mom, literally, because I'm just
Jason, you've not been pregnant. So many a time when I children, I had Freddy, like, come to me in my dream and go... And my child reached out and said... There's a guy talking to me, and I said, no, baby. But that's kind of what they're saying. Like, it's just like,
so when
like,
you were pregnant,
I love you. You're my child. I dreamt about you. And they're like, Yeah, there's a guy like pulling me away from you. I'm like, I don't know what the heck that is. It's all like a metaphor.
But sorry,
enough.
so when
That's
you were
enough.
pregnant, you had visions of 10-year-old Vivi?
Could you imagine if I did? It's like, oh, like it's immediate conception is like I dreamt. I'm sure people do, but I was like, I dreamt I would name you Vivian. I dreamt that you'd be like my eyes or whatever, like sad eyes. Like that's beautiful. It just also is like the.
Jenny,
I
love
watched a
doing
lot
the
of.
show
I
with
watched
you.
*Malignant* when I had a baby, where I was like pregnant with my second child, which was a terrible idea to do, and like *Midnight Mass*. But I was like, oh my gosh, could you imagine? Anyway,
That would be.
Can I ask
All
a
right,
question,
so
by the way? How old is Freddy supposed to be? Well, even better, how old was Amanda? What year was she supposed to be in that asylum around?
60. Ooh, boy, they listed in part 3.
it's
all in
it's got to
part
be the
3.
60s.
It is
Then
the 60s.
why does Springfield, whatever it's called, institution, look like it's in 1800s Transylvania?
Thank you.
And you
Tim,
know,
because the exterior shots of that fucking asylum are completely insane.
Dude, it's Dracula should be living there, not
I
Freddy.
thought it was Monty Python and a Holy Grail. I thought the rabbit and stuff like that was to start running around
Questions-
like he was just climbing the fucking walls.
It's like, where's
I-
Amanda Kruger? Oh, she's in the Frankenstein wing. Send her over to the Dracula
Oh
wing.
no,
Or-
don't send her
or
there.
corner. Yeah, because
Right.
that's exactly what it looked like.
It didn't
I
look
am
like
gonna
that in
defend
Dream
this.
Warriors. I'm just gonna say.
It did
No.
not.
I am going to defend this, right? Yes, it took place in the 1960s. That very well could have been an old school Cropsey-like asylum where we're just sticking people and abusing them and terrible shit's happening, because a lot of those mental institutions they're built in like the 1920s, 30s, 40s, they had this like look about them, and they were just kind of, co-opted and just ran. So I'm going to defend the look of it. Maybe a bit gregarious, but I don't think as ridiculous as it could be.
Jason, it looks like an oil painting. Like, every time they show it on the outside.
Did you
That's
say
the one thing of the look I'm gonna say. I'm gonna ding this
A
movie for.
Transylvania.
You would say it was
Transylvania oil
beautifully directed into an oil painting.
You know,
Jenny, that's the one thing I'm gonna say about the visual
Beautifully.
of this movie is that whenever the 2 times that they show the exterior shot of the mental institution, it looks completely insane.
It sure does.
That's from
No pun intended. It looks insane.
any concept picture of Jack the Ripper. That's that picture. That's the background.
Whatever that
That's
is.
that background.
All right.
But also, they're like, I think the craziest thing that always kills me. They're like, she got locked in there for a weekend, and it was back in the day. It was so different. They were like with 100 maniacs, and like it was a holiday weekend, so she was there for like 3 days, arguably. I was like,
But
that is insane. The implications are like disturbing and horrific. But I go, what do you mean? Like, who was feeding the people? Didn't they have to eat for 3 days?
Yeah,
How'd
look,
that work out?
there is
Where's the
there is
staff?
always
Holiday
someone
weekend.
with a mean streak and a nightstick looking to beat the shit out of one of these
Sure.
maniacs.
One
There's
will
always
say-
someone on the staff. Like,
One-
that's ridiculous.
One-
Like, oh, it's Columbus Day weekend. She got stuck in there and was raped
Exactly.
100 times by 100 maniacs.
And
Like,
then they go
what?
because the 2 guys in the meeting were like, "All right, we got to go. There's 100 of them. Whatever, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
they
go."
were
Let's
literally
go."
counting them. They were just trying to get to 100.
It's 100.
And it's Memorial Day weekend. We have to leave.
That's
And they
98,
locked them
99,
all up
100,
together, by the way.
101.
Yeah,
Oh,
together.
no, just 100.
Yeah, they locked them all together like in just a big,
Yeah,
huge
let
room.
them
and
No
they
food.
just-
walk around.
we don't
Let them
need
walk
food.
around a huge room back and forth.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
That's how we
know.
help. Yeah.
That
Jason.
was
All right.
upsetting.
All right, so Ed, go ahead. I know you've been chomping at the bit, scraping at the door to talk about the lore. Go ahead, and then Jenny, you can respond, and then this is when Tim and I will go. No,
This is going to be a Trump Kamala debate here.
Okay.
It's not going to be good.
Okay. So let's get back to the beginning of this movie. So Freddy's game plan in this film. He sees that Alice is pregnant. His plan is to use her child to draw in new children, right? Because he needs souls to do his thing,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Okay, fine. Kid's dreaming, fine. I'm still on board with this. But then he wants to make the child like him and feeds him the souls of the people that he's killing throughout the film, or he's trying to make the child him. It's very unclear whether he's trying to make the child him or make the child like him, and then the child turns on him by the end of the movie. And then Amanda, there's a line in this where she says that Freddy brought her back to give birth to him again. That's how he was going to come back at the same time as this is all happening. Which is it, Freddy? Are you doing? Did you bring him? But then he can't go near Amanda. He's scared of her. That's what he's like. We'll see, bitch. We'll see. Like that whole
he
thing.
can't touch her because
he can't touch her.
He's
but
a
she
Christian.
can give. Yes, but she can give birth to him, but he can't touch her. What the fuck are we talking about right now?
No,
it makes no sense.
You've gotten into something pretty great that I'd like to ignore because I don't.
No, you should ignore this if you're trying to like this movie. Don't listen to them talk because then you're not going to like the movie. But Jenny, but then by the end of the movie, though, right? So I'm guessing he's trying to just make the child like him, similar to him, not him himself, similar to Freddy, like his, I don't know, you could say his underling, I guess, or whatever, right? He's trying to, I guess that's where he changes course in his plan at some point, and then they find out Amanda is her skeleton or her remains were locked in a room, I guess, all these years, and all they had to do is move away one brick, and then suddenly her soul is free, and then she can go and try to stop Freddy, but she was in the movie in the beginning of the film already.
True, but it was a dream.
So what is going on right now?
No, we can't be locking
And
down.
then they kill Freddy by giving him the souls back that he gave to the child to begin with.
And we took away from part 4. We freed the said souls, and we.
Thank you,
away.
Jenny. Yes, because in the fourth one they rip him apart. In this one, he gives them to the child,
and
the child gives them back, and then somehow he ceases to exist.
I would like the court to understand that I really don't watch the end of this movie a lot. The least amount of times I've seen the end of this movie. I do know that it's Yvonne and Alice. They walk away with the baby, and it's healthy. I do. The ending sucks. Can I just say that. I think the baby, he has the power that Alice has. Hey, what's that? No, get away. Get the belt off your chest. I am a good politician. I'm conceding that this is a flawed plan.
Not a great plan if you're Freddy.
Not a great plan.
Apparently Freddy doesn't know what the plan is.
No.
Because he keeps switching and pivoting.
Freddy's never been involved, Your Honor. He's not there. Yeah, that's not great. And also, but I guess because she can dream. And as soon as the baby, it's a hot topic thing to say, is that the baby is dreaming, Freddy can initiate right away.
Fine.
And he's there. But I go, and then, but does he have her power to bring people in?
I mean, that's the thing, Jenny. I'm on board with you at that point. I'm fine with that. I will say that maybe it's sort of some inherited thing that he's passed. Fine, I'll buy that. No problem. It's the Freddy part of this. His plan, when he has two different plans, I guess, going at the same time, and then they don't really connect, and then the Amanda stuff makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
No, it's pretty crazy you brought Amanda into this. From the third one was cute and spooky, and this one is
Jenny. She was scary in the third movie. Like I say
terrified of her
scarier than
she's the scariest, scarier than Freddy. Yeah, arguably those
absolutely.
Eyes. Yeah,
but. It's just
she's the heroine.
The story, it's where this whole thing completely collapses on itself.
I know. It really is. Now let me just lay out what I love. I love the Friends. I truly do love the Friends. I love Alice's whole plot with her father, her boyfriend, her boyfriend's in-law, her boyfriend's parents. That is beautiful to me. We do just get, and then spooky baby boy from Jurassic Park, which is crazy because it is
way too much screen time in this movie.
I know, and
he is not great.
I don't like him. I just don't care for him.
They should scale him back just a bit. There's too many lines, too much dialogue. There's too much of the movie relies on him, and that's.
I think he's good.
Problem.
I just don't like him. I just don't care for him.
His whole thing is just weird. Yeah, Tim, I think you had said, it's just like. Hey, Freddy, show me some stuff. And then it's just like, nope, I'm gonna not show you some stuff.
Oh God, because they were like, my friend Freddy, he told me not to like to stay away from you, and I was like, cool, and then he just go like, hey guys, and I was like, I don't want to see a 5-year-old like do. Ooh, and he's the kid from Jurassic Park. I don't like you.
I didn't
Jenny,
even
that's-
clock that he was a kid.
By the
from
way, guys,
Jurassic
there's
Park.
also another thing here where Freddy gets ripped apart by his fathers, like the 100 maniacs. They rip him apart in that one scene.
Yeah.
He's with Jacob, completely whole in the very next scene. Like none of it ever happened.
Because it was all but a dream, Ed.
I'm just. What are we talking? What are we doing here?
I don't like the end of this movie. I think I like the beginning of this movie with just my friends, and my friends, I mean like Mark and Greta and Yvonne and Alice and Dan, and and a little bit of Freddy.
Yeah.
All right.
And then Amanda,
But
by the way, Amanda also takes Freddy back at the end of it. Like,
Just absorb him into her womb.
unbirths him.
She has to unbirth him, and it doesn't work because he's going to come back later.
I mean, we know he's always usually back by the end of the movie anyway.
That's amazing.
By the end of the
It's
movie.
true.
Yeah.
Guys, there are themes here that can work.
All right.
Yes, if
So
they just.
I know it is not cohesive.
before we move on to the next section, Tim, because I did say that's what we'd be doing during that section. All right, is there anything we missed that you guys really want to talk about from your notes? While you guys look, I will say I'm going to call out an image I really liked, and then I'm going to ask everyone except for Ginny to name one thing you liked about this movie.
Yeah,
Ginny, I need you to
I'll
name
go
one
around and
thing
say something you
hated.
loved about this movie.
No, but Ginny, you have
loved
to say
about
something
this
you
movie.
hated.
Okay, I
Oh,
will.
wow.
I will.
Yeah.
100% say something.
I think we just got it.
So my notes, yeah, I think we did, but it's only fair that I give Ginny the same assignment.
Okay.
I actually really like the Alice in the MC Escher painting when Freddy's chasing them through the painting, which is MC Escher inspired, where like the walls are ceilings, and then there are. I thought that was cool. Kind of a rip off of Labyrinth, which did it earlier, but I think it did look really, really good, and it wasn't doing the same thing it did. Okay, something I really thought was out of place in this movie, because now I'm just going through my notes. Why do we get the whole subplot of Dan's parents wanting the baby? Why is that in my Freddy movie when Freddy isn't?
Oh,
I
it
have
takes up
no
it
idea.
takes up time. This movie is so short, but then Alice was like, "Guys, Freddy's here. Freddy's here." And the doctor was like, Freddy's here. Take a note." And he's like, "She's an unfit mother." And the parents were like, "You're an unfit mother." And she's like,
How
"No."
bad was that doctor, by the way? How
It was
awful
so
was that
bad.
doctor? No, acting wise, like how awful was he?
Oh, so bad.
He was really bad.
I just love hearing that. There was like the parents were like, "We'll take the baby." She's like, "No." I was like, "Oh,
It's just a weird.
crazy
It was just a
girl.
weird. Yeah. And then my last note, and then anyone can pick this up. My two last notes. One, I kind of dug the chalkboard credits in the beginning. I don't know what this had to do with school necessarily, but there's a child's
The children,
chalk,
children's
whatever. I thought it was interesting, but this solidified itself for me as a bad horror movie when we got titties in the first 5 minutes. Did you guys see the tits in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, boobies.
It's
in the
like-
tower.
We've gone 6 movies. 6? No, 5 movies. We've gone 5 movies, and we haven't needed gratuitous titties.
I mean, we've gotten them in the last 2 films, if we're being completely honest.
Greta
Yeah, but-
didn't do anything. Greta was a beautiful woman who didn't do anything, Your Honor. Let me
But
stamp down. She
first-
had a character.
Was
She
it-
had
Was it her titties we saw? I didn't even
No,
clock.
no, it
Alice
was
Wilcox?
Alice's. It was
It was
all
Al- it was
probably
Al-
hers.
During the
yeah.
conception.
Yeah.
No, it was right
There
after
you go,
the
yeah.
conception.
During the
It's-
conception. How dare you say that?
the conception, or what? No, was it during the conception, or was it
Yeah.
during the shower?
The
It
shower scene.
was
And
during
then
the shower,
also,
right? Yeah, it was during
Yeah.
the shower.
Dan had a lot of like
And-
romance.
I know it
vibes.
It
happened.
was like a romance
In the other
novel.
There
movies.
like-
was some stuff going on in that scene.
I know we got
true.
breasts and gratuitous breasts in the other movies, but not in the first 5 minutes. Like
No.
that was embedded. There was movie.
I know.
Hey, 13-year-old boys in the audience. More movie. This was like shit. What do we tits first, then we'll figure out the movie later.
But it is alarming. It is just like
Yeah.
a bit like, oh,
I don't know.
titillating.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't give a shit. Like, at what point in the movie it happens, like whatever.
I know.
They chose to go with a sex scene to open the film anyway.
I know, but
Because of the
that's in it.
conception.
It's the
That-
conception. We are sticking with the conception.
Which
Which they still didn't need.
We didn't need it.
I know.
We didn't need it.
And they're like, Dan stuck into your bedroom at night. All that nonsense.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
What? Any other notes you guys want to go through? Anything we missed? Anything you guys want to touch on?
Tim,
before
I
we
want to
give
hear.
our final
Tim, I
rankings?
want to hear more about your notes because you had some serious fucking notes based on what.
Yeah,
you showed
please
us on the
go,
screen.
please.
Yeah,
no, look, we nailed all of them.
Okay.
The shower, everyone locked in one room, just walking in circles. The asylum looking like Transylvania. Who gives a graduate keys to a pool? Yeah, the dinner scene was my best kill, favorite scene, and all unnerving all at the same time. Those are all my stuff.
Yeah, I think
Other than that, it was a horrible movie, especially with a horrible ending.
Yeah, I hit most of my notes. I think the only one is there was one of his stupid one-liners that he says to Alice when she's like falling somewhere. She's like, "Let's rock and roll," and I'm like,
That was bad. That was super bad.
"Wait, why? Why is this?"
And
happening?
he started to use bitch way too. Isn't bitch like 3 times in this?
We'll see,
Oh,
bitch.
ridiculous.
We'll
Ridiculous.
see.
No,
At least to his mother.
but when does he say it outside of that though? In this movie,
I know he says it more
he
than once.
says it in like every movie, but like,
No, he says it more than once
No,
in this one.
Yeah, I
no,
don't
I'm just
remember
trying to
exactly.
remember. I'm being honest.
I don't
I
remember
don't
either.
remember what lines, but I did clock. He said it more like we get in the third one. Welcome to prime time, bitch. We get
And also, he writes on Joey, "Come get him, bitch." To
right,
Nancy,
and
yeah.
then we get. He says it once in 4, right?
I've been guarding my gate a long time, bitch.
Oh yeah.
Right. And that's not even. I don't even think that counts because he throws bitch out, but that's like him facing off against his actual rival. Like that's not like him being misogynistic and just saying, welcome to prime time, bitch. That this is him being like, oh, you want to step up to me. So I even say that's a bit different.
He could, but hold on. The case could also be made that and it's funny that Jenny pointed out that he's talking to his mother, but in this movie, he's on one hand needs her, but then on the other hand, she's his adversary.
Yeah.
Depending
So
on
he's
which-
like, "I'll back off. Let me."
Yeah,
just
which
stay."
part of his plan? Because he was adversarial. Like he's like, we'll see, bitch, we'll see.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that as being the same kind of thing, but it also
Okay.
depends
All
on
right.
which plan he's going with because we don't really know.
But it
Yeah,
is
I
so
don't-
aggressive. Oh, man, that whole you make fun of the "it's a boy" scene. I do kind of like "it's a boy," because he's so like it picks up from part 4, and I love part 4.
Yeah, because they go back to the church.
Right.
When
And
he
then it's
died
like
in the fourth
the
one.
weird like push up and build up, and then I like when she dives into the water. He's in the water and he comes up and he spits up the water. That scene has haunted me since I was a child because that moment, because it was a clip that I saw. It was scary.
Love that scene. I love that shot actually.
The shot is pretty great.
It's good shot.
It's weird.
Good shot. I don't know. Like I said, the visuals are. I love the franchise regardless. This is my least favorite. I actually hate this movie, but visually, outside of the exterior shots of the asylum, the movie looks great. Like special effects wise.
It's darker than part 4. I think it's a better directed movie than part 4.
I wouldn't say that. Well, Jenny, we just
Wouldn't you?
But Jenny, we just went through this storyline that makes no sense.
The story, but the script written by a woman, may I say, doesn't make sense. But I think it's like kind of darker. It's like spookier, but there's no Freddy.
I'll agree with you that this movie tries to be darker than 4.
Yeah, it's darker.
But also, I think
pop
that
music. No pop.
but I'm going to be honest. I don't necessarily mind and I guess by the time we're done with this thing, we can go through like. I still think the Freddy that people think of is kind of somewhere between 3 and 4.
I think so too, because I don't like this Freddy. I'll take Freddy's Dead. I hate the characters in Freddy's Dead more, but I like that Freddy. I don't like this Freddy, but I like all the characters and Alice's friends more. There's no music in it. It's so weird.
The music in this movie, which I'm sure we'll chat when we discuss music, it's just it didn't. I don't know. The fourth one has the best. We talked about that last week, right? Like you guys agree. The fourth one has the best soundtrack of the whole thing. Like they have like. It's funny. I was making a Freddy's Jams playlist, and it's music from all the movies. I have like 5 songs on it from just the fourth movie. Like it's everything.
Go to Goo Goo Dolls. Goo Goo Dolls in Part 6. Goo Goo Dolls in Part 6. Freddy's dead, and then
no. But I've been purposely making it as we go along with this podcast. But the music in this movie sucks.
I don't know.
And none of it's in the movie. It's all like pasted onto the.
They try to make it serious.
You know, I texted Ed after I finished this movie because Ed took over producing for me for this run, and I said the song this week has to be that weird fucking 80s rap song over the credits. Who I didn't even realize it was Kool Moe Dee. It is nothing. It's a fine song. It has nothing to do with this movie, and it was just so shocking to me because every other movie has had some form of original song. Even the first one had 1, 2, Freddy's coming. Like it's not big, but I mean,
but the first one also introduces the main theme, like the Nightmare on Elm Street theme
as well. Exactly. That's like with James Bond with the Dr. No. It's like we don't get a Bond song because we get the theme song, and it's the same thing. But this one doesn't add anything to the music repertoire. This Kool Moe Dee song is fine, but I think it kind of is symbolic of this movie where it's like it's fine, but what the fuck is it doing in this franchise? What's it doing here?
Like the rap, well, you had to have a rap song at that time.
But I get it, but why not Ready for Freddy with the Fat Boys? Why not pay Will Smith and like you had rap songs that was about Freddy at this time.
Well, it's just I also think it's fun because remember, like you got to know, this movie came out less than a year after Dream Master, so this production was get this fucking thing out while Freddy's hot because apparently like Dream Master made way more money than they ever imagined it was going to, so they felt like they had to rush out another one immediately. That's why this movie shot with no script most of the time and yada yada. And I guess again, Never Sleep Again explains it, a lot of it in a good way, and why Stephen Hopkins hates this movie and doesn't even ever want to watch it again because he's embarrassed by it. Like literally, he's been gone on record saying that. I don't know. It just shows.
It is not that bad of a movie. Oh my gosh.
Jenny,
Stephen Hopkins being like, "This is the world." Like, you did good. You did pretty solid.
Jenny, which Nightmare on Elm Street movie would you put this above? That we at least to
Yeah,
the point
I'll
we're
tell
at.
you right now, Your Honor.
That we're at. Nothing past this.
Yeah, two. Oh no. F that. Oh, this is above 2. This is way above 2 to me. Now?
No, yeah.
I think so. I think this is above 2.
Okay.
And then sometimes if you're like, "Hey, Ginny, if you want to watch 1 or 5," I go, or no, 1 or 4 now, or 5 or not 1. No. I'm sorry. And so it was like, "Hey, Ginny, do you want to watch 4 or 5?" I might be like, "Oh, where are we at?" Maybe 5.
Jenny, you love 4. Stop.
I do love 4, but I watch
just as
4
much as I do.
Like I haven't watched 5 since I was pregnant, which is like 5 years ago. So I'm watching 4 every year. I watch 4 every year. 4, 3, 1 every year. This one I have not seen since like 5 years ago. And I was like, actually, I dig it. Like I appreciate this. I'm kicking up things. I'm growing. We're all growing as adults. I think we're all growing as women who
I've certainly grown a lot as a woman in the last 5 years.
Who have children maybe. I don't know.
It's going on right now.
Our children are dreaming now.
All right. So, any other notes before we wrap this up and talk briefly about the music?
Guys, I love this movie.
I don't think you do, Jenny. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I don't think you actually love
like this movie. More
I think this is trolling. This is you trolling.
No, I'm not.
I don't think she's trolling.
There is no Freddy. I like the characters. If you're like, "Hey, Jimmy, who are your favorite friends?" We talk about that. Who are your favorite friends in all the character movies? You could say Freddy versus Jason. It might be Freddy versus Jason for me a little bit, but also this movie. I like the friends in this one.
I hate the friend in this.
I also
You're just
hate
saying
the Freddy
Dan.
movies.
Everyone just
Like,
hates Dan.
I'm telling you, I was dying for Freddy. Just like, dude, show up and save me.
And now
I
Freddy
like
saved
Greta.
me.
I did like Greta.
I love Greta. Greta and Yvonne.
I had no use for Greta, but I'll tell you the problem with this movie in 3 words: too many survivors. That's it. Too many.
Yeah. Yep.
It should have been
agree.
Alice, the baby, and her father at the end. That should have been the 3 of them.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah.
Tim, I'll sum it up
That's
in
fair.
one word: plot.
Do with that what you will.
No, like
Right.
that's really my issue with the movie. It's honestly, it's basically the story and the plot itself is what pisses me off about it. Like, I really wasn't banging on that much stuff. I mean, the Freddy cartoon and stuff is goofy, but I can tie that to the plot.
All right, so I think it's safe to say that 3 of us think this is a nightmare, and Ginny thinks this is a dream. I'm going to make this analogy for anyone who watched our first season. I think Ginny sees this as Quantum of Solace, which we decided at the
Yeah, I do.
right. We decided at the time it was a lot of
Kinda.
fun. Maybe not the best, not the worst, but a lot
Yeah.
of fun. I see this as Moonraker. And if anyone remembers, or if anyone listened to our Moonraker episode,
Oh my god.
I fucking hate that movie. That movie made me question if I was a fan of that franchise. Not when I saw it for our show, but when I had rewatched it a couple of years before. There was a bird who does a double take in that. I couldn't get over that. And that's kind of how I feel about this. I want to like this, but it's just so batshit crazy. It doesn't gel with everything that went on before it. And I remember the next movie we're going to do very well, and I know that I'm gonna double down on that issue because the next one feels like it'd be its own fucking franchise. This at least still has Alice in it, but I don't know. I needed more connective tissue. I needed more kills. I needed more plot. Like, if you're gonna do the lore of Freddy, then fucking do the lore of Freddy. Don't retread shit you did in 3 and then not add anything to it, really. So that's my overall final thoughts on this. Ginny, I'm going to give you the last final thought because I think we should end positively.
I do agreed. It is like, when you think about it, it is like no kills. The lack of Freddy is like insane. Get 2 pretty interesting like visuals, like a baby Freddy, a toddler Freddy, as it were. To me, I get into like the 80s lore of like back to school, like a back to school special with these like characters that I like. And it is boring. It takes a while. It just like takes forever to build up. I love her friends in this one more than even, dare I say, the next one we do. I think you're going to miss these characters and the nuance of these characters when we get to our next movie. And even Freddy vs. Jason is like lame. Okay, and then and there's my movie there. So I will say I do like this movie. I appreciate this movie now when I'm older. So I will watch this again. I like this movie.
All right, excellent. Ed, you want to trash it? Go ahead, trash it. Say it.
I'm hoping this is the last time I ever watch this movie. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like, I own it because I own the box set, but
no, there'll come a time when it's like, you want to watch all of them? All right, let's just watch all of them.
No, Tim, you're right, because the last 2 times I've watched this
Yeah.
movie is because of the marathon we did that day, 1 through 6, and for this. It's not because I've chosen to watch this movie on my own because I want to watch it. It's because of other things that have dragged me back into it. So, I don't know. I've never liked this movie. I still remember the first time I saw it, like, as a kid, and I was even like, no, I just thought it was corny and stuff like that. That's what I would say. Like, then I hated the lines from it. And this is the one I've seen the least out of all of them. Like, it's not even close. I told Jason it was probably like, and Jenny, when I say the least, I'm talking like probably like 5 times.
Freddy's dead more than this.
No, well, because like and I'll save more of that for next week. But like, I think when Freddy's Dead came out, it was like an event. It was very much like an event. It was like, oh, the 3D and stuff, and like Freddy's Dead. Like, it was actually when you watch that movie, you can see the intention was
It's an
that it was
event,
going
yeah.
to end. Yeah. So, and for me, it was just like, oh well, you know, this franchise, this character that I love, like it's going away. But with this, I almost feel like this was the reason why they decided to end it. Like, I'm serious. Like the reviews were terrible for it. It didn't do well at the box office. Like the fans rejected it at the box office. Like, I don't know. It's just there's not a lot of for me to even like in this movie outside of Robert Englund's back as Freddy, and outside of that, I'm like, no. I actually no. Lisa Wilcox is good in this movie. She's not given a lot to work with.
I love
but
her. Yeah,
she's
love her.
good, and she like I do like the character growth of Alice. That she's seems to be much more confident in this movie, based on like the shy. Yeah, like there was a build off of that, but outside of that, no, there's.
Thank you to my constituent for appreciating our good actress. And,
no, I will give it. No, I'll give it. Jason.
I think
Jason
it's a
knows this. I will give the double
country.
word. I give the credit where it's due. I'm not going to try to like completely turn a blind eye to it, but you know, it was also why I decided to break out the Dream Warriors T-shirt again to make me feel better about the franchise again while I'm discussing like. This is my least. This is even below 2.
We're gonna enter a new era for the next movie, though. I feel.
Oh, I'm not.
I agree.
I'm not saying like I'm propping that up as like some sort of like.
I don't know, guys. I can't wait to talk about the next one.
Yeah, it would be very interesting, but yeah, it's rough. Yeah. It's a rough watch.
Tim, you got any closing thoughts before I realize we're going to talk about the songs in one. I'm going to ask you guys a question about them.
No, I'll just say, Ginny, I said your spirit is infectious. I like the way you defend it, but I'm sorry I can't jump on board with you. It's just a horrible plotted movie. I don't like the friends. I don't like the cast. That's just me personally. But like I said, I admire your enthusiasm towards the movie at least.
Absolutely, I'll second that.
I feel like you were so gentle right now. I feel like this is the kind I've ever seen you in this debate.
Jenny, my attacks were going towards the movie. I never attacked you, not once.
No, you're so gentle.
I wish I liked this movie as much as you do. I really wish I did.
No, you know, I'll tell you why, Jenny. No, I'll tell you exactly why. Because I said you're infectious. I'm actually sitting there going, do I like this movie?
Yeah.
she really likes this. I think I should like this movie. But then you start talking about it. I'm going, no, I don't like this movie. I'm sorry.
I do have to admit that I came in questioning if this was a movie, and I still do question if this is a movie.
It's a fair point.
But I like aspects of it more since Ginny explained why she liked it. Like you turned me around on Greta. I have to be honest. I was like, I don't care about these kids.
You
turned me around on Greta.
Murdered, and then baby boy coming in. You're telling me you didn't like a girl, had a crush on her, and you were friends with her, and then she passed away, and you had to like. Deal with that. I'm just joking, but that, I love that. I love all the friends in this movie.
So I think Ed, you guarded your gate. Ginny, you guarded your gate. But I think Ginny kind of convinced Tim and I, like, maybe this movie isn't as bad as we think it is.
Did you?
Tim, of course, went, no, it is.
You still don't think it's a movie. You're still questioning whether it's an actual film.
I'm still questioning if it's a movie, but I found more things to appreciate in it.
Appreciate? I say now.
No, I'm still with Ed on this one. I just said she had me questioning myself for a second.
That was the difference.
But at the end, I'm still
Tim,
Team Ed on this one. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Tim, you listened to her and went, "Do I like this?" No, fuck no, that's dumb. And I went, "This isn't a movie." But I think I like parts of it now more than I did. It's still not a movie, but all right.
You don't even think it's an actual film. Jason, that's been our ultimate insult. We've only questioned that with Supergirl and like a couple other films.
I know.
Supergirl. Leave Supergirl. No, get that away from this movie.
Yeah, Supergirl's terrible. But that's the irony of it.
I've seen this more than Supergirl.
I think, unlike the movies that we have discussed, like Supergirl, where I've said, is this a movie? This is irredeemable garbage. I think this isn't a movie, but there's one amongst the rubble. And I'm not surprised to find out that it was a chop job by the studios. I mean, I'd be interested in actually reading the script, and I might do that because I'm crazy. If I have time, I might, and I could find it. I might do it.
There are interesting. I think it's pretty to the they did change things. I remember like when I was like 14, I read a bunch of the scripts. They changed like a few things, but the characters are all kind of like tight there on the page.
But like, does it make more sense? Is it more cohesive of a story? That's what I'm curious.
Jason,
I want to see what's chopped out.
Just like more personal like stuff, and I think more like violent kills. No.
Jason, there are concepts of a movie.
Concepts of a movie,
no.
and
I'll leave it at that.
I hear they're eating the dogs and the cats on Elm Street.
Eating the dogs.
It's crazy.
They're eating the cats.
All right, last question. We've finished that movie. I got one more question. So that Kool Moe Dee song made no fucking sense at the end of this movie. I sent 4 songs. I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to all 4 of them. I'll remind you what they are. And I want you to tell me which out of the 4 do you think should have been in place? Because all 4 of these have one thing in common that the Kool Moe Dee song does not have. It is actually about or something to do with Freddy Krueger. So we have DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince and Nightmare on My Street. We have Freddy's Greatest Hits, Do the Freddy, which that was hard to find. That was weird. We got SOD, Freddy Krueger. And we got the Fat Boys featuring Freddy Krueger, Are You Ready for Freddy? So I'll answer this one first, unless you got something, Ed, because I just want to give you guys.
What I was going to say is that Fat Boys can be disqualified though, because that's actually attached to the Dream Master.
Are we taking this like as non-official, like song?
Yeah? Well, but I was taking it like not because.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought you were.
I'm just thinking. Yeah,
the song for this.
Yeah,
my bad.
I'm really just getting at, like, out of these 4 songs, which do you think is kind of the best? And like, because this is not a Freddy song, so out of these 4, which do you think is kind of the best that you would put in there, even if they are attached?
I would say Nightmare on My Street.
I mean,
I actually like the song too.
I love that song.
Yeah, even though it's like fake Freddy that gets voiced in it too. And Tim pointed out like there are things that are mentioned in the lyrics that sound very much like 2. It sounds like it's kind of like rehashing.
He says
1, 2, and 3.
I got the body, you got the brains. That's a line of the song.
I've listened to that song a bunch of times where it has nothing to do with like anything else. Like I actually think it's fine. I mean, Angie doesn't want me to ever play it, but you know.
Yeah, well, different reasons.
So you know it gets played then.
Yeah, of course. All right, Tim.
I mean, commercially, I'd go with Fresh Prince, of course. Personally, I think Freddy's metal. I don't know why Freddy's rap at all. I think Freddy's a metal guy. I'm going to have to go SOD. I am also an SOD fan. I know a lot of people never heard of them before, but I actually a big fan of them. And, I would have went SOD all the way. I think Freddy's metal. I just think, even the claws, like on the guitar artist. That's like metal, you know what I'm saying? So, but
he's like a fucking guitar picks on
but except for Do the Freddy, I wiped that one out completely. The other 3 are fine.
Yeah, do the Freddy is awful. It's okay that it's hard to find. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Fresh Prince, but I'm gonna go with the Fresh Prince for a different reason than everyone else. I'm gonna go with the Fresh Prince because then I'd be able to flout the trivia. This was the first instance of Will Smith doing a rap song for a very popular movie that it was attached to. And then I would like to say that I wished he was in this movie so I could tell you that, you know what? Right? Because then it would have been like, Nightmare on My Street, Wild Wild West, Men in Black. It would like all the hits.
Why Suicide Squad bombed, right? The first Suicide Squad? Because Will Smith did not.
No song.
No song. No song from Will
right.
Smith. And you know what? We don't have to change anything of that movie. If you just had dropped a song on that soundtrack that they said was amazing, we would have been fine.
Jenny, what do we do?
I think that I believe in that. That's my religion. That's my faith that Will Smith will drop a banger of a song.
Well, Wild Wild West. That was
true.
A major bomb.
I can quote all of Wild Wild West. Can none of you all do karaoke to Wild Wild West?
I could sing that song. I've never seen that movie, and that's surprising for me because that's kind of my wheelhouse.
No, I'm just saying you're making it sound like Will Smith writes a song for the movie. The movie's great. No. Wild Wild West is not great.
I just want a good, but that song is a banger. I just want a banger song.
Hey, and the Bad Boys movies are pretty awesome.
Amazing.
They are. I actually I watched the first one recently. I don't know if I told you guys. I watched the first one for the first time. I liked it. It is.
It's a good Michael Bay movie, which is not something I can say often.
There's lots of good Michael Bay movies.
What was that?
Sorry, you stunned me with that. Sorry, I got Transformers in my head.
No, let's not do that again.
All right, so I guess all of us agree that it should have been
Will Smith,
Jazzy Jeff from the Fresh Prince, and Tim. Will Smith. Will Smith needs to be in this movie. Will Smith needs to smack Freddy and be like, "You keep my wife's name out of your mouth."
Out of your mouth.
Just love to see it. Tim, I love that you went SOD. I think that's great. He is. I actually thought I watched that video. That video is really awesome because it's just like metal and Freddy cutting people up from the first movie. That was pretty cool. And I'm gonna say this: the Fat Boys one. I think out of the three that we were talking about, I think that's the worst. And here's why. I heard Freddy rap for the first time because I'd never heard that song before. I heard him rap for the first time, and I made that joke before, but this was the inception of it. I literally went, my God, if I could just make 10-year-old me listen to this song, I would never be afraid of these movies again. This is ridiculous. This man is rapping.
But you'd be more afraid of him if he was shredding guitar, though, right?
Oh, yeah, I'd love it. I'd be fucking.
There you go.
I'd be like, it'd be like that scene from Mad Max where they just have that band, the metal band, and
the
leather
fire out of the guitar. Yeah. It's pretty sick.
Yeah. All right. So, any other thoughts about the music before we close up?
I'll just say right now, do yourself a treat if you want to go to SOD's Greatest Hits. They have songs on there that are like 6 seconds long, and they'll change your life. There's a song called "The Ballad of Jimi Hendrix." It's literally, dun, 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 you're dead. That's the whole song.
Wow.
Greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. Greatest song I've ever heard in my life. I love it.
Awesome. So SOD.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I mentioned it was here before though. Like there was a Bruce Dickinson song that was done for this movie, "Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter," that never appears in the film at any point. It sucks too. It's a pretty bad song.
It's just Bruce without Iron Maiden. It's just Bruce.
No,
Dickinson.
I mean it's funny because it's labeled sometimes Bruce Dickinson, other sides it's labeled Iron Maiden. So I don't know.
That's like "In the City" by the Eagles. Sometimes it's listed as the Eagles. Sometimes it's listed as just what's his name, the Eagle guy. I can't remember which one it was.
Fucking
but
Eagles,
yeah,
Henley.
Yeah,
Henley or Fry.
No, Joe Walsh. I'm sorry, Joe Walsh.
Oh, there's another Eagle member?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything with the fucking Eagles, man. Come
on. All right. Well, I'm going to thank everyone for joining us. Thank everyone for tuning in, who's ever listening in the future. I realized I forgot to put that little blurb out telling everyone that we were going tonight, so that's on me. But you can join us in 2 weeks. We'll be following up on our trek through the Nightmareverse with Freddy's Dead, which a little behind the scenes. That's my first Freddy movie, so I have a lot of things to say about that movie. I want to thank everyone. What's that?
That's so fascinating to me. That's where
I know.
Your introduction was Freddy's Dead.
I know, and my whole thing was, oh shit, why was I so scared of this? This is ridiculous. So we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, that'll be not next week, but 2 weeks from now. It'll be Sunday, 8:30-ish. Usually we go. Ed, Ginny, Tim, thank you for joining us. Ed, do you want to set up what's going on Granny's?
Yeah, we'll be back. Actually, Jason and I will discuss the date soon too. But yeah, we'll be discussing the latest episode of The Penguin on Max, which has been killing it. I actually watched it just before this episode we did right now. So
it's so good.
Agatha All Along dropping new episode tonight. Superman and Lois, and we have a movie to discuss. Venom, thankfully, hopefully, The Last Dance. So
When you going?
Friday afternoon.
I'm gonna go
I can't.
me and Jackson going tomorrow night.
By the way, it's
Oh,
totally
good luck.
separate thing that is not included to a show. If you like horror movies, obviously you're watching this. Smile 2 is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I got
Highly recommend Smile 2.
Yeah, I want to see that. I love
Good.
that.
I really want to see that. I know.
Yeah, so there you go. Current horror to check out there. But yes, if you're into comic book stuff, Grady's Peach Tea, check us out. We got a loaded show to talk about, a lot of shit. So join us there.
And I'm going to say this. If I have time and I can find it for free, I'm going to rewatch Let There Be Carnage.
Why?
That's
Before
my
I see
sister's favorite, like DC movie currently, and not DC, like Marvel, Sony universe movie. My sister is like, Ginny, you have to see it. You have to see it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. It's short. It's like fabulous. And I was like, okay.
The answer to your question, Wyatt, is because we are very quickly coming up at the end of this godforsaken Spider-Man-less Spider-Man run, and I really think that's going to be when we actually have to rank these pieces of shit. That's going to be my favorite. So I want to rewatch that specific one before I go into Venom 3 so I can kind of say, all right, which one of these piles of shit do I like more?
Don't forget, we also got Craven in December. So
Yeah, guys, Craven.
not just
I'll see
yet.
Craven. You want to watch Craven with me? I'll watch Craven right now. Let's go watch Craven.
Oh my God, what is going on right now?
Ginny, you
Me and
should
my
come to
twin
see
sister
Craven
are
with
gonna
us
watch
and then
Craven. I'll go.
be on the episode.
Don't ask questions.
All
I haven't
right.
seen
Well,
that movie.
look, Ginny's gonna hunt out a Craven the Hunter experience. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. If you like the show, rate and subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. We're on YouTube, so you can rate us there as well. And yeah, that's all for us. Thank you very much, and pleasant dreams.